Get ready to get inspired or insanely jealous. If you need park building ideas for Jurassic World Evolution 2, this is the video for you, because I'm going to show the best park builds on console and PC, with mods and without. These are truly spectacular, must-see builds, and I'm excited to share them with you. To celebrate the channel surpassing 250,000 subscribers, I hosted a new edition of Battle of the Builders, a park building competition to find out who wins the crown of Best Park. We have 4 categories: Best Past Gen Console Park, Best Current Gen Console Park, Best PC Park Unmodded, and Best PC Park Modded. For each category, I picked 3 personal favorites as the finalists, and then a public vote on the Discord determined the winners. There were 110 submissions in total, and the biggest category was Current Gen Console with 49 submissions. Thank you to one of my Discord moderators for doing the math on that. Before revealing the winners, I want to talk about some honorable mentions in a quickfire round. Starting with this amazing rock art by Frankermit. This would be so cool for a park with a helicopter arrival. Gamma 012 narrowly missed out on making it into the top 3 finalists for Best New Console Park with this amazing park, and I love this fidget spinner-like island in a giant lagoon. Jedi Samayoa made a massive park basically covering the entire square map, and working on something like that myself right now, I tip my hat to you. But up close, it gets even better. Look at all these wonderful areas. And I want to highlight this beach area that blends a dinosaur theme park with a resort destination, very much in spirit of Jurassic World. Another huge park was built by fantabulous Top Hat Skyman, and to you two, I appropriately tip my hat. The creativity and patience that went into this are incredible. Rex's Gaming Bro built a park in the shape of the Biosyn logo, which I absolutely love the look of. Slippin' Jimmy's Park I want to shout out for the path work. Not path art, but what I'd like to call path flair with different colors and shapes. While I'm not the biggest fan of recreations, Vovo did an amazing job recreating the San Diego park. It's hard to believe that Cretaceous Containment's park is built on PS5 because it looks modded. But that's because Cretaceous Containment is one of the glitch geniuses of the game, figuring out game-changing techniques. And look at that massive parking lot, a really awesome, realistic touch. Speaking of glitches, I think Brother One was really clever flanking a glitched monorail track that has a tour going over it with 2 regular tracks, so you still get support pillars on either side. Moving on, I love the flowing monorail structures in the park built by 86 Carlos, and a different Carlos, Carlos Yo, built this awesome harbor complete with dock built out of benches. Connor cleverly put the Jurassic World gate on a tiny island in a lagoon, which I think is a lovely attention to detail and making our lagoons just that little bit more interesting. They really can use all the help they can get. Oh my gosh, and I've just fallen in love with this park by I Am the Okapi. This so narrowly missed out on being a finalist. I went back and forth so many times and I felt awful having to make that decision. This is why Battle of the Builders is bittersweet for me and bad for my heart, because it's impossible to choose favorites when there are so many good builds. People just do the most amazing things with mods, and you'll see even more fantastic examples of that later in this video. But a quick shout out to this simple yet brilliant use of the curved wall pieces by Arrow to create a tunnel. We'll definitely be using this when I start modding myself, which is soon. And Benshin did exactly what I've been dreaming of doing since Frontier introduced the log viewing gallery, but unfortunately it does require mods, and that is having it cross water and connecting 2 cliffs. This habitat looks so nice. I adore it. One of my favorite unmodded habitats was this circular one by Legion. I like the surrounding water, which creates the need for these short fake bridges for guests to reach the viewing galleries. We have path art, we have rock art, and now thanks to Bingle we also have tree art. This immediately caught my eye, but the overall park is simply wonderful as well. Dino Man made a lovely Versailles-esque plaza/garden, And even though it wasn't part of the competition, I do want to shout out Dino Excels for some lovely dinosaur photography like this one. There were many more amazing builds submitted, and I want to thank and commend everyone who participated because your parks blew me away. And to everyone watching, the complete submission channel is still viewable on the Evolution Square Discord, so after this video I highly recommend you hop on over and scroll through the submissions for even more park building ideas. But first, it is time to reveal and showcase the 4 best park winners and the runner-ups. Starting with the first category, Best Park on Past Gen Consoles, which are Xbox One and PS4. I selected as the finalists Braint, Cold Handorf, and Weird Lizard Person. And then it was up to the Discord members to vote. They massively voted for Colt's intricate garden and pathwork. Before I show Colt's amazing park in full, I want to shout out the runner-ups. Braint made a wonderful custom island complete with a facility section and Dunkleosteus skull path art. With the dunks of course being in the park and their lagoon made to look like a rock cave using the lagoon glitch. And I love this seating section in the aviary using the Jurassic Park wall pieces to shield guests from the terrifying Therizinosaurus that live in the aviary, another good glitch use. Weird Lizard Person's submission might have suffered in the public vote due to the screenshot quality, but the park is top notch, making nice use of the map it was built on, and just look at how lovely this setting is in front of the visitor center, and I love the little decorated areas that they highlighted with their screenshots. But the unmistakable winner was Cold Handorf. Right away, the intricate garden catches the eye, and it's definitely a showstopper. I can't even imagine doing this complicated pathwork on PC, let alone on Xbox with a controller, and then placing all those bushes one by one. It is so gorgeous, it might even distract you from all the detail throughout the park. But make no mistake, this park is fantastic throughout. Rich with wonderful areas that I would love to walk around in if this was a real place. And it's nice to see someone make use of the UK map. I think it's one of the hardest maps to build on due to its size and shape, so it was an extra challenge to making this park as good looking as it is. Disclaimer, Colt is one of my moderators and friends, but you can't seriously look at this park and say they won because of favoritism. And in the end, it's the Discord community who decided, and they voted overwhelmingly for this park to win. And throughout this video, do abuse that pause button to gawk at these submissions at your leisure, or check them all out on the Evolution Square Discord linked below. Moving on to the next category, Best Park on Current Gen Console, which are Xbox Series X and S and PS5. A separate category from old console because old consoles deal with some building limitations. I nominated as the finalists Graceful Dragon, JC 3.0, and Slightly Stukip. And this was the hardest category to narrow down to 3 finalists because there were so many submissions and so many great submissions. But I narrowed it down to 3, and then the Discord members voted for Slightly Stukip. Again, before I show you the mind-blowing park that won the crown, a moment to celebrate the runner-ups. Graceful Dragon has won in past editions of Battle of the Builders, so it's no wonder they made it to the finals this time around. What a gorgeous park, with such a nice flow to the pathwork that makes me wish it was a real place and I could just meander through this park. Aside from the lovely pathwork, the park is also full of detail, like paths lined entirely with rocks and foliage, and it even makes use of the monorail glitch to create a bridge for the tours. And as you know, I'm a sucker for the monorail glitch. The other finalist was JC 3.0, whose park immediately caught my eye thanks to the wow factor of the aerial overview. I love that this park has clearly distinct themed areas, like a desert and a redwood area. But there's lovely attention to detail throughout, like these giant stylized sauropod footprints in the path, a little fossil dig site for the guest to be a paleontologist for the day, and of course, I love me some monorail detail. But the undisputed winner is Slightly Stukip with this park build that truly just boggles the mind. When I first saw this submission, I didn't see that it was built on PS5 and I just assumed it was a PC build. This build and many other submissions truly showcase that there's no difference between what you can achieve on PC and on console, in spite of what I always see many people say. This park is truly one of the best I've ever seen. The time and dedication that went into this, I can't even wrap my head around it. It boggles the mind. Boggles the mind, I tell you. I'm a big fan of the big areas of pathwork that make the park look spectacular from the top-down view, but for the guest perspective would also just make the park feel really open and airy. But even more impressive is the rock work. Not just to line the paths and tour tracks, but also the rock work in the habitats is beautiful. And just imagine the commitment it takes to make a custom barrier out of the biosyn lights and then also deciding to line the whole stretch with the tiniest planter type in the game. This park takes my breath away. Again, this is one of the best parks I've ever seen for Jurassic World Evolution 2. We have to move on though, because I have even more awesome builds to show you. We've reached my category, so to speak. PC builds without mods. So who built the best park on PC unmodded? I am glad I am the judge and the host and not a competitor, because I would have been smoked in this competition. I selected as finalists Cleo, Crazy Cat Miri, and Python X35. And with 90 votes, the Discord members crowned as winner Python X35. As always, first a shout out to the runner-ups, starting with Cleo's Egyptian-themed desert park. Right from the overview shot, I was in love. The colors and shapes make this more than a park, it is a piece of modern art. But speaking of art, albeit not so modern, what really tipped me over into picking this park as a finalist was the path art to create Egyptian motifs. The theming in this park is really strong, and I love how that makes it stand out and gives it its own identity. Look at the pyramids! I could rave about this park all day long, but can you believe that this park didn't even win? It's crazy how strong the competition was. The other finalist was Crazy Cat Miri, a name you've probably heard on the channel before because she comes up with some super creative ways to make unmodded builds even better. One of them being a trick to create holograms with the marine species, as she did for a full section in this park. Such a different way to spruce up a park. But of course, I fell heavily for the use of monorail tracks. As a judge, I am too easily emotionally manipulated. But again, the park didn't skimp out on details, and the total is just chef's kiss. But not even these two fantastic parks stood a chance against this build by Python X35. I mean, just look at it. They said in their submission that this park took them over 200 hours to build, and it definitely looks like it, and it definitely paid off, because what a masterpiece. This might be the best unmodded park I've ever seen for this game. Maybe the best park ever, period. And that's saying something, because thanks to these Battle of the Builder competitions, I've seen a lot of amazing parks, just in this edition alone. But this park is the Sistine Chapel, the Mona Lisa, the Starry Night of Jurassic World Evolution 2. It's so well thought out, so detailed, so creative, so realistic. Every aspect of this park is done to perfection. The pathwork, the rock work, the foliage, the decorations. I am blue screening looking at this. My brain cannot compute. Send help. I've been informed by a little birdie that Python has a YouTube channel with a building series on the creation of this exact park, so I highly suggest you go check that out and show support. And the same goes for other builds showcased in this video. There's a whole list of links for you in the description box to see more of their work. But before you go, we have one more winner to announce and a spooky extra category. Next up, Best Park on PC with mods. This was the smallest category, but the competition was fierce. The three finalists that got my vote are Banana Launcher 360, Rob Earth, and William Smart 23. The builder that takes the crown as decided by the public vote is Rob Earth. But first, I want to show you the runner-ups again. Banana Launcher 360 built a relatively small, but hyper-detailed and creative park, making excellent use of not just the modded in pieces, but also Kai's toolbox to use the vanilla pieces as building blocks and create custom structures. I've said it at several points during this video, but this feels like a real place, and I love builds like that. I will say though, this park does get me scared to start modding myself because, Lord, I could never. The other runner-up is William Smart 23, who made an all-lagoon park. I was really enamored with how they inlaid smaller lagoons into the bigger one, playing with the height of the lagoons and lining them with rocks. Plus, speaking of rocks, there's this awesome indoor section. I think this park is maybe not as flashy from the aerial perspective as some of the other competitors, because we're looking at a lot of lagoon surface. But I adore everything about this lagoon park. But now to the winner, Rob Earth. Rob's park didn't just get the most votes in the PC modded category, it got the most votes out of all the submissions. 111 at the time voting closed, and every single one of them is well deserved. First, I want to highlight something that has nothing to do with mods, but I love the flow of the paths and the combination of different colors. The whole layout makes me feel like it's a place I want to explore, walking down these winding paths and discovering all these beautiful vistas. I love how lush this park is, not just in the habitats, although the nature work is absolutely spectacular there, but also all these gardens in cutouts in the path. The park sits so well within this beautiful landscape that Rob created. Something I think some people forget is that mods don't make great parks, creative people make great parks, and mods are just a tool in their toolbox. And yeah, it's a very powerful tool to have, but you do need to know how to use it to the right effect. Not everyone can build like this, just if they had mods. Rob is definitely one of the most creative builders in our community, and he makes fantastic use of the full toolbox. Like using the benches to create these big letter signs, and these concrete pieces to create basically a modern art piece. This is the kind of park I hope Frontier studies as homework for making Jurassic World Evolution 3 even better, because this is what the vanilla game should be capable of in the hands of incredible builders like Rob Earth. Congratulations to the 4 best park winners: Cold Handorf, Slightly Stupid, Python X35, and Rob Earth. We're not done yet though. Because the competition ran in the spooky month of October, there was a separate horror build category. Unfortunately, not many builders submitted for this category, not enough to have finalists go head-to-head in a public vote, so I'm assuming full judge responsibilities and declaring the winners across all platforms. Zippy wins Best Horror Builds on Old Console for their abandoned park. Unfortunately, they chose to showcase it through dinosaur pictures only, aside from the map overview, but there were only 3 submissions total here in this old console category. I appreciate Zippy for building a full park, they definitely put in the legwork. The winner of Best Horror Build on Console is Cretaceous Containment. As said before in the honorable mentions, Cretaceous Containment is one of the glitch geniuses of the community, pushing the game beyond its limits, and they built something super spooky here that honestly looks modded even though it was built on PS5. Big props to their photography to really sell the claustrophobic atmosphere of their build. One Chuffed Frog gets the crown for Best PC Unmodded Horror Build with the Isle of Rima inspired habitat inside of an aviary. I love that they went with a theme and had a story around it which felt very appropriate for a horror build, and they did a wonderful job creating the abandoned spooky look. Rob Earth gets his 2nd crown today for building a little town haunted by dinosaurs as a horror attraction, making really excellent use of the statues, which give it a feel of a dark ride with animatronics at a theme park or carnival. But just when you think you're safe and it's just statues, you see there are real dinosaurs sprinkled in. All submissions for Battle of the Builders will remain visible on the Evolution Square Discord for the month of November for you to scroll through and get inspired by. And again, I've linked the channels of the builders whose work has been showcased in this video in the description box. I want to thank everyone for participating one more time. I cannot overstate how many great builds there were and how difficult it was to narrow it down to finalists and winners. Thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and until next time, congratulations to everyone!